Hey there, good morning. This is Calvin Baker and another episode of the Weekend Review with Mini Pots. I have managed to get a few things done this week. A little bit pleased with that. I still need to do a dry brushing on this guy. This is for Greathelm Animal Cultists, and this is using the Green Stuff World resin bits, Forest Critters. And you get 20 of the critters. Some of the legs are fragile, so you got to be careful when you snip them off. You can see here I have a little skunk and a couple foxes, and I decided I'm going to be making a couple more. Have some beavers and some raccoons. I don't know if I'm going to be putting those on one base or two. We'll see, but I'm going to be making up a couple more bases with that. I did need to magnetize some bases, so I glued some magnets on some blank ones to get going. I did manage to finally get the bases in from the Hive Storm, the Imperial troops from the Hive Storm kit, and I forget their name right now. Yeah, I can't. And so that I'm considering that part of that project complete, and I'm happy with that. I also got in some Reaper mini gremlins. Now, I don't know if you can really see the detail. It's not great detail, but they could work with 15 millimeter, or they could work with little tiny guys in 28 or 32 millimeter. I might be mounting them up on 20 millimeter bases. I just think I have some, let me get some, I have some 25 millimeter bases right here, and of course they're not coming easily. I just think the little guys get lost on that. Of course, it's hard for you to see against the black, but you can just, I think a 15 millimeter I just think is too small, but a 20 millimeter and in a game of something that you might use them for, a War Transformed I was thinking of, or there's a couple games out there. Devilry Afoot. So I got those in, got them from eBay, like $12 for 8 of them. That's the wrong group. And I was happy with that. That includes shipping. Maybe even no, it was $8. They didn't charge me for shipping. I was very happy with that. I need to get a couple more, I think. Finally got this guy 100% where I'm happy with him and complete. I did the water on the basing. Unfortunately, when I varnished it, I varnished it twice, and the varnish came out a little foggy, but it bothers me, but it doesn't, if that has any understanding out there. I just think I'm going to be getting another one of these where I kit bash some around the head and probably one of the feet, then maybe 2 more, and then do another one around the head, tail, and a couple of the legs, and so I can get 3 different poses out of this one. But that's going to involve a lot more work. But he is complete. I'm very happy with him. I've been doing the plastic crack competition, or it's not really a competition, but it's just keeping scores to give you some motivation. And I'm going to be posting him up as a large mini with a fancy base, and I think he'll be worth some points. Was at close to 700 last I checked. Haven't really done anything there. As you see, I don't finish a lot of things, which is quite irritating. This guy, I think he's cool. And on the base, it looks like a scene out of the woods, sort of. The beavers, I've got to get a little stick, and possibly like they're getting ready. But again, this is one more of those little forest critters, a sleeping fox. I need to do a little bit of black on all of them, and then I'll consider them done. And dry brush on this guy. I have one that I have to start from scratch, so I'll be doing a white on him. And I say him, I don't know. It's just a mini. It's been very hard for me to listen and watch things. So I haven't really watched very much. Almost forgot about this. I got this Mark Copplestone's Future Wars Scouts, and I got them for a couple games. I got them for Psalm 28, and I also got them for Zona Alpha. For Zona Alpha, I was thinking they could just be bandits because they are a little bit of everything. I mean, they're just looks like they were scavenging and they have different equipment. They're not a uniform group. I guess there might be a couple of guns that match, but you can see, and like these guys even have their face covered. But I imagine out there in the wilderness, if you're this guy wearing a army helmet of some kind and a different type of gun with a different type of stock, and then he has some grenades. But I thought that they would be cool, so look for them now. I say Zona Alpha. I bought the rules a long time ago. Bought the PDFs of Contraband and a couple of their other freebie ones, and I'm interested in it. The European bloc scenery I don't have any of, and it's a little bit irritating to me, but we shall see. I have those guys that I've got to get on my work list. And how do you guys keep track? I know that I'm not, or you folks, keep track of the different projects you have going on. I have an app that was going to talk about at some point where it helps me to some degree, but it doesn't have everything that I need. And sometimes I just need a little bit more. Back to watching things, or listening, podcasts, Hive Scum, been listening to those, catching up those, Snarl, some history ones. I did the medieval history, and then there's another one I've been listening to where they went into the horror things in the historical, and they were discussing Jack the Ripper. That's who they were discussing. And it's interesting. It's interesting to hear about that, and that's a little bit different. Just something to keep I got into them because they were talking about a shipwreck and how this group of people went from normal civilized society to a barbaric fascist group to once they were uh, liberated by having another civilized boat with some authority behind it. What happened to the group? And it was interesting to me. And that's why I subscribed to that. So this next week, I know I'm going to have a little bit more time for at least a few days. So I will be finishing up these guys, my beavers, my other skunk, and I have some chipmunk squirrel guys that I will be getting done. And then, now these are the guys that the legs really broke off. So that I feel sort of guilty about that. And this is a great little set. And I know there's people that don't like the green stuff world, but pardon me, I don't have a lot of options where we're at, and I don't have a 3D printer. So I will get what I can. And maybe that's the right attitude or wrong attitude. I gotta do that. I talked about that, the things I got, what I'm listening to. Reading, I made some progress on the Murder Witches, which is murder book, the Victorian era or the Napoleonic era mystery. And I got into that series. It's slow moving. Just if you're going to pick it up, it's very slow moving. I got into it because of Silver Bayonet, and I am excited about the new Silver Bayonet stuff coming out. The book, the minis, boy, that is cool. There's also a new cultist group coming out by North Star, which I'm sure everyone is aware of. That just looks killer. There's some Kickstarters that look interesting, but I don't think I'll be doing. I'm waiting for a Kickstarter to be going for the latest one by the author of Forbidden Psalm, Will ramen, and he's doing it with Electi Studios. And I'm waiting for that one to get kicked off. I thought it was supposed to be September 16th, but I think it's been pushed back. I haven't seen any official announcements of that. I will post a picture of it so you know what I'm talking about, and I'll get the name right. Hobby Homies have done a couple playthroughs of it, which I think merits mentioning. It will work in with some of the minis I have. I want to go into Baron's War and Pillage, and so I can begin to have that. And I'm looking forward to that one, so I'm just waiting and holding off on that. Although I don't think the release will probably be until next year. Greathelm, a Kickstarter by Malev Shinobi. I'm getting his name wrong, and if Malev, if you watch this, please forgive me. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. I apologize for that. My mispronunciation, if it is. I have not played it. I skimmed the original rules several months ago. It looked interesting. I don't have any night minis, and so hence the idea of Baron's War and Pillage would help with that. The neat thing about it is it's basically you can play with it with any melee fighting minis. So I was thinking of doing it with orcs. I have some of the Swamp Orcs by Games Workshop, which I put together, and I think I've primed them. Yeah, I've primed them. I just have not done anything with them. So that's something that looks really hot. The something I'd been watching, and I need your advice on that or your input. So these are the new Monument Hobbies brush. Um, oh, synthetic Dauntless. I like them. They were okay priced. But something I've read recently is that all acrylic brushes tend to get that hook at the very tip. And I don't know. Yeah, you can see it against the white. And I had only used two of them, and I decided to get a couple more out and start using them. I bought two sets of this, one for my kid if he wanted to start painting, and one for myself, and if he didn't do anything with it, I had a backup. So I don't know. I'm thinking of trying to go natural brush, but we'll see. And these are not that cheap where I could just say, oh well, and get another one out. And I like things to last, and I tend to run things into the ground in case and stuff like this. I have to pause you for a second, just a second. So I got a call from the other room that a child needed some help, so I wanted to go see what was going on. And it's normal stuff. I think I basically covered everything. I have a playthrough of When Nightmares Come set up. I'll be doing a couple flip throughs this week. I still have to finish up the ones for Hardwired or Exploit Zero, I should say. And that's where things are right now. I hope everyone is doing well and going to have a great week. You can see I have my time cut out for me, and I've got plans around everything. There's some other projects I'm doing which I haven't outlined here. I'll get that up and done. And thank you very much for watching. Remember to like it. If you got anything out of this episode, again, this is a series where I'm just trying to, my ADHD, family, father, kids, that type of stuff going on. And I hope that you are getting something out of this. I know I am, and I appreciate your time. Thank you for all those that follow me, and remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great week.